All right, everybody, what is up? So, want to do a video on my battery for my trailer and what I'm gonna possibly be doing when we're camping and dry camping out in the desert. So, this is kind of like a, I guess, somewhat of like a tutorial, instructional slash questionnaire type of thing. So, um, I have some things I'm gonna do, and I want to talk about a couple devices, or a device that I'm definitely gonna use, and I have some questions about how my trailer's working. So, let's start off with why I'm making this video in the first place. So, the other day, I was just decided to kind of look at different batteries and stuff for the trailer, because I'm like, man, I'd really love to have a fully inverted trailer, meaning I have battery power supplying all my electricity, and then inverting it to 110 AC, and I wanted it enough to be able to power on my air conditioning and all kinds of stuff. So if you didn't get stuff like that from the factory, it can be very costly, as a one-time cost for you. If you had purchased your RV with all that stuff already on it, then you've got that spread over so many years, so you're not going to really notice it too much. But I wanted to get out of the dealership as cheap as possible. When I start adding stuff, then it's hard for them to go, okay, we're going to give it to you at this price, because they were right at the beginning of COVID, back in March. Well, our COVID in the United States anyway. People were already anticipating that there was going to be a really big slump in sales. So what they did is they were handing out some great deals. Now, I got a great deal on this trailer. This same trailer a couple months after I bought mine was $10,000 more. So yeah, I was right place, right time. Anyway, for ambling. So I didn't get the inverter, and my trailer only came with one battery. It works on all the lights. So if I'm on battery and I pull out that little switch on this particular trailer, which is an added-to trailer, they have this little pull button switch deal. It turns on everything I can use for battery. So I hope this is not too dark in here for you guys, but I'll turn on this little side light. So this is my little setup right now. I tried last night. Actually, I tried 2 nights in a row, and I'm trying to get a feel for this, so we'll go into that in a second. So my trailer comes with 2 of these. There's one right here and one all the way back in the bedroom on, I would say, my side, the side with the window. If you have a slide out on this trailers, a pop out, whatever you want to call it, it's on, I guess, the left side of the bed. Anyway, it's a cigarette lighter style type of light, or I'm sorry, plug-in. So that kind of guy right there, you plug it in, and now you got 12 volts going to that device down there. Now the device down there, what I'm talking about, is this guy right here. So it's a little dark in here. Let me turn on this light. So this is a Best Tech, there's the brand right there, 300 watt sine power inverter. So this is a sine wave, pure sine wave inverter, and I like it because it's good for sensitive electronics. You have your 2 USB ports right here for anything that you want to plug in, as far as the, cell phone wise, whatever, anything that uses a USB type A male side. And then here's your 2 outlets with the ground, and here's your little switch. Boom, powers it on. Now, every time I do that, whether I'm on short power or not, I get a little dip in my power. So let's see, I'm gonna point you right, and I don't know if you can see that on camera. It flickers just slightly, so I'm not sure what that means and why it's doing that. And maybe just a little converter type of deal. And here's my tablet. So I had my tablet on hotspot all night. So that was what I was using to stream on my TV here. So 50-inch TV, somewhat of the newer style TVs that doesn't take a lot of power. So this is rated max at 90 watts. So 90 watts. And then I had my cheap extension cord. I had my TV plugged in last night, and my Fire Stick, because because the Fire Stick likes to work off of one of those dongles better. It tends to work a little bit better. Both of those were plugged in AC power off of that inverter. And then on those two little USB-A ports on my, that's the outlet for my trailer, I had my tablet that was pushing out a Wi-Fi signal. So it had to be topped off all night. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to see how long I can last on a one battery charge, and if I can power up my TVs, if I can do that, both of them, this one right here I just showed you, which is, you know, just your cheap Jensen one. I'd love to upgrade it later. And then I got this 24-inch right here. I would have gone 32, but this is actually perfect. I don't need anything bigger, and we like to keep our our TVs on at night in the desert. It's just something that's comforting to us. And then here's the other outlet, like I was saying, on this side of the bed. Same deal, not one over there. So I'll be using this one with an extension cord or extender going down. So that cigarette lighter type of plug, they sell extensions for it. So I'm gonna buy an extension for that one over there, and do it that way because it's kind of hanging there. It's not on the ground. So that's cool and all. I'm trying to get my best judgment, my best calculations down, so I can figure out how many amp hours I'm pulling, how many amps I'm pulling at one given time, and per hour how many amps that would be. And I have a 100 amp hour battery, so if I run 1 amp an hour, I'd have 100 hours I can run that battery. So this inverter that I have here, the inversion alone, going from 12 to 120 or 110, whatever, just in that inverting it like on standby takes almost an amp, and that's on the DC side. So it's very small wattage. Because of that small ratio, your amperage is gonna be a lot higher on the DC side. Plus, just the way DC works. Now at 90 watts, for my TV here on 110, very small amount. It's like not even a watt or an amp. So you get where I'm going here. So usage, I'm trying to figure out and calculate how much I would have. So anyway, I had this thing on, this whole system, my setup going for about 11 hours from last night till this morning. And I come over here, and the first thing I check was this. And it said 100% on this little gauge. So 100%, you see that last little ticker on there, and it says 100 right there too. That's what it said this morning. I have another way of checking my battery in here. You hit your battery. It says BAT. Boom. It did that. 4 lights. Get it. So I've been playing around because I didn't believe it. Didn't believe that. And let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. So let's do this. And I'm going to show you right out here real fast before I got to leave here in a second. Pick up my son from school. Let me take my battery cover off. I actually was messing around this earlier, and this whole time I've owned this trade last 6 months, this negative side was just flopping around. That's not good. So come over here, and with shore power plugged in, 100%, right? So let me show you something over here. I'm going to unplug shore power. This is the weird part. Come over here. Oh, my freaking foot. Clunk. Transfer switch does its thing. Does a little clunk. Okay, so my battery power is on right now. This is pulled out. My disconnect is pulled out, which means my trailer's running off a battery now. Oh, let's come over to the battery. That's why I did this. So don't make me look like a fool. So this says 100% still. Still says 100%. Now when I did that earlier, it's making me look foolish now, but when I did that earlier, I had it plugged in and it said like 95%. I unplug it and it would go down to like 87, maybe even lower. And I'm like, okay, maybe that monitor on there on the battery or any of these is just monitoring, you know, voltage, and it's saying, okay, I'm close. So when it's on the charge controller which would be in that box right there, or the solar, it's saying that it has the proper voltage, meaning that it's like, okay, I'm getting close to being full. If you unplug it now, the charge has gone away, so it's like a false reading, if you will. Now I just disconnected shore and it says 100%. One thing I have noticed with the system is if I don't have the battery power disconnect pulled out, it won't charge off of shore. So let me plug this back in. Oop. I'm gonna have you guys jostle over it. There we go. Plug back in. Boom. Another clunk. Okay. So we're plugged back in. And so the one thing I wanted to say too is, so when I did, like I said, when I did that earlier, the first night I tried this whole setup, I didn't know, I haven't really played around with this trailer, the battery wise. I just, you know, like, oh, my last trailer, okay, either the battery's on or off, and when you have your trailer plugged in, you're charging your batteries. Well, this is not the same situation. So because I have this solar charge controller system, if I turn the battery disconnect off, meaning that my trailer's not on battery anymore or whatever, it will not charge via shore power. And I think it has something to do with the solar charge controller slash controller for the trailer. Now I believe if I just leave it on and it's not plugged into shore, then whatever one is you know, on charging, it will take precedence. So shore power takes precedence, I guess. So I heard this thing humming down here earlier, and that means the fan was going. That means that charge controller was working. I don't know exactly how this system works, so my assumption is if there's no shore power or generator power, any other power, any other influence, then the solar just takes over. But do I have to have the battery disconnect off or on? I'm not sure. I've had it off before, not plugged in, and it says it just keeps on flashing full and this and that. But like I was saying, I had the battery disconnect closed, or I guess open, if you will, off, and my battery only got to like 70% yesterday. I'm going, whoa, okay, that's weird. So now I know I should probably just leave my battery disconnect on, and it will always be charged by shore power, topped off really good. If I leave it off, even though I'm plugged in shore power, it doesn't do anything. It does only charges by the solar, and you might not get topped off every day, and I don't know how good that is or bad it is for the battery. So that's my little story there, and I'm hoping that if anyone's watching this, they can explain to me exactly how the system works and what I should be doing, what's beneficial and what's not. Because I might get another battery for my trailer. I do not want to do, like I said in the beginning of this video, or close to the beginning, to do an inverter, a big one, that's going to power the whole trailer, all outlets on, all 8 outlets AC. You're talking bucks. I mean, another battery, one of these batteries right here is going to cost you about $1,000 bucks. 100 amp hour battery, lithium. So there goes $1,000 bucks right there, easily, for one of those guys. And then your 3-way disconnect, auto disconnect, because I like to have one for the inverter, one for the both legs on my generator, and both legs for the shore power. You know, you're talking about a $600 transfer switch, maybe more, and then a good inverter, something that's going to pure sine wave invert this net, probably in the same price range, $600-700 bucks, maybe more. Wiring, big time, massive double lot, you know, copper wires. So you know what I'm saying. This is my cheap way of still having some TVs playing. Like I said, it's kind of our comfort thing at night, just having a little mumbling in the background, whatever. And then the kids like their little night light on. I forgot to mention that. I left the night light on, that Attitude light. It's just a strip light, LED strip light. So, just a quick little thing, you know. Hopefully you guys, someone that's watching this can tell me how this freaking charge controller thing works. And how I can get the actual true reading, my true capacity of the battery. And then I'll go from there. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Later.